Hello and welcome to the Successful Garden Design Show, episode 18. Now in this episode we're going to show you how to tackle changes in level. If you're frustrated your garden doesn't look as beautiful as it could, even though you've purchased lots of lovely plants, then help is at hand. Plants are not enough. You have to have a good design layout. And when you combine design with the beauty of plants, that's when the magic really happens. It's our mission here at Successful Garden Design to show you how to do it. And it's much easier than you may think. I'm Rachel Mathews and I've been a professional international garden designer for over 25 years and I teach garden design online. Also in this episode we finally get to see how Nikki and Matt's garden turned out. You may remember that back from episode 15. So first up, we're going to take a look at Adrian's garden from Nottingham in the UK. Now, he's got quite an issue with levels, and we've actually made this into a case study feature for our masterclasses in the Great Garden Formula for our students to learn from. So I'm going to start out by showing you a clip from this masterclass. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole thing because that wouldn't be fair on the students that have paid for access to learn all these secrets if I give everything away for free, but you'll still learn plenty. And at the very end, I'll show you how the design turned out, and I'll give you an extra tip that I didn't give in the masterclass on steps. Now, when you watch the beginning of the masterclass, do take note about the change in level. You'll see Adrian use his laser level, which I'm very envious of because it's a really good one. You'll see how he shows where the patio height's going to be in relation to the rest of the garden. And it's quite a dramatic amount that it comes up by. Okay, so a little bit of a slope on this garden. There's a 1 metre 33 difference in height from the house level here down to the bottom. But before we get going, I want you to see the full extent of just how this garden is. So I'm going to get the owner, Adrian, to give you a guided tour with his laser level.
Here you can see that I've set the laser on the bottom level and it's now shining where you can see just below the blue brick course. So where I've set the level on the bottom of the garden. What this has enabled me to do is to then rotate the laser around and take all the measurements from it, so I know that they're coming from that top measurement. So first of all we're going to go into the bottom far right hand side, taking from where you can see the laser level down to the current ground level. And this particular measurement was 133 centimetres. I then move across into the far left hand side of the garden, and this measurement is about 122 centimetres. And finally we move back to the right hand side of the garden, again nearest to the house but on the lower level again, and this measurement was 126 centimetres.
So as you saw in the video, there's quite a lot of different levels happening with this garden, being this corner different from this one and just the whole setup. So on the surface it feels quite complicated, and yes, to a degree it is. But how do you go about designing this so that it isn't scrambling your brain with all of the things that are going on? Well, I would start this any other way I would any other garden. Like levels? What levels? Just design it, just draw and start to see how the shapes go. So scribble, scribble, scribble. Now, while I'm doing this scribble play, I want you to think about, having seen all of the previous masterclasses, what is it that's getting my area of focus when I am designing this? Now, obviously it's a given, I'm just thinking about shape, but beyond that, where is my main focus? So, what do you reckon? What is it that I'm busy thinking away about? Do you think that I'm thinking of the levels at this point? Do you think that I'm worried if I've got enough area for the planting? Is the patio too big? Actually, it is now I said that, but no, that isn't actually what's been running through my head. Let me give you a little clue with our old favourite, this garden. If you'd like to see the rest of that masterclass, I'm afraid it is only available to our Great Garden Formula 3.0 students. Now, this course was originally designed for homeowners to learn how to design their own garden, but it's been so popular with design professionals as well, wanting to improve on their existing skills, that we've now extended the course with lots more information so that it really is valuable for professional garden designers and landscapers, as well as very keen gardeners who want to learn how to improve their garden. And the masterclasses really take you right into the deep details that really make designs work well. So the one you've seen a clip of is Masterclass 9. So if you'd like to join us here, do pop over to greatgardenformula.com and we'll see you in the members area. Don't worry, I'm not so cruel that I won't actually show you how that garden turned out. So let's have a look at Ali drawing up the plan and then we'll talk through the design. She's quick, isn't she? Wish I could draw that fast. So here's how the plan turned out by the time Ali had finished working her magic with it. So what we had done is to have this main area here at the top, a nice big curve with a curved deck and the decking going at an angle, so it kind of steers your eye towards this lovely path that wraps around the lawn, and then we come back up again, up these steps to the top area. So the reason we're doing that is we need to create interest and draw the eye around the garden and also tie in the two levels. There's nothing worse than having a garden with a big slope on it and finding that the area closest to the house feels small and you end up cutting the garden off because of the slope. So you end up with two sort of almost dysfunctional areas of garden that it's better if you can try and get the garden to work as a whole entity. So we've achieved that by this path draws the eye around the garden, and it's very important that when you have a path it actually goes somewhere. So you might be wondering, as it's quite a small garden, did we really need that quantity of steps? I mean, how many staircases does one small garden need? And yes, on some levels that's a valid point, but the way I look at it is steps are not just a bridge from one level to another, they're also a visual bridge, and that is so important. So for argument's sake, let's say we didn't have this secondary set of steps in here, and this raised planter came all the way along here, we would then be blocking off this section of garden. So from the house, your sightline would end here with this border, and then the rest of the garden would have just dropped away. Whereas when we have these steps here, there's a graduation and it links the two areas together, both physically and visually. And even if you never ever went down those steps, visually they are so important because they link the top area in with the bottom area. There's not such a big divide between the top garden and the bottom garden. And also that path has to go somewhere. If we didn't have steps back up again, it would be a pointless path. I mean, you could get around that with a little seating area here. You could reconfigure it, but it's much better if a path does actually go somewhere. And then to extend the top garden more, we've put in a rendered retaining wall around this section so that this is the same height as the patio here, and we've got a water feature in there as a focal point from the main doors here and here. And then we're just finishing it off nicely with the steps coming back up and some more raised rendered planters with LED lights. So this whole area would be lit up at night and would look very nice indeed. So there you go, that's what we did with the space. So Adrian has said he'll keep us posted on how the garden turns out. So once it's built, we'll come back and have another look. And talking of customers showing us their finished gardens, I'm very pleased to announce that we do actually have the final shots from Nikki and Matt's garden. After all the delays they experienced, it's finally done. So Nikki's going to give you a guided tour.
One of the things I really love about our new garden design is I can enjoy it as soon as I walk into the house with a view from the hall through the French windows onto one of my favourite parts of the garden, which is the snug and water feature. We also love entertaining And as part of the design, Rachel cleverly came up with the idea of a built-in seating area which she calls the snug. As we move to the far corner of the garden, we come to the cooking area. We chose a pizza oven as we wanted to make a real feature and focal point for this area. Walking through the house into the kitchen, we get to enjoy a different view of the garden, which is another design aspect I really love about our new garden. We get to enjoy a different view from each set of French doors that face out onto the garden. My husband loves cooking, so we wanted to incorporate a place to grow herbs and vegetables in the garden. We really love the end result of our garden design, and we can't thank Rachel and her team enough. It's absolutely amazing, and we now have the wow factor garden we can continue to enjoy for many years to come.
You're very welcome, Nikki and Matt, and thank you so much for the guided tour. It's really great to see how they turn out. And just to show you all the processes that Nikki and Matt went through to get their garden built, we're going to quickly whiz through the stages. And you can see the landscaper here has set out the design, and that's really important to make sure everything fits, it's all going to work, and that everything ends up in the right place. Then they start to dig out the main areas, and then in goes the hard landscaping. So they do all the edging. That's most important to get those shapes right, just like it is when we're designing in the first place. As you can see, it really makes a difference just getting those defined lawn shapes into your design. So you can see just how much difference it makes when you get the right shapes in. You end up from having a very boring lawn to a really gorgeous, entertaining area. So, you know, this was done, it was a postal garden design service. I've never visited the site. It just shows you the power of design. So I hope that's inspired you to tackle your garden. And if you'd like some more top tips on how to add the wow factor to your garden, I've created a cheat sheet that you can download and a short video tutorial that walks you through the top 5 things that you must do if you want to create a stunning garden. So head on over to successfulgardendesign.com/wow and you can download your cheat sheet there.